Hi, I'm Rebecca Zadibble, otherwise known as Rebecca Z Artist, and I just made this decoupage pumpkin, and I thought you might enjoy learning how to do it. So for this, I've just taken an ordinary craft, or not even a craft pumpkin, but a pumpkin from Walmart, and I put some white acrylic paint over the surface, but you wouldn't necessarily have to. I just wanted a light base to work on. I've got a couple of synthetic brushes here and a bucket of water, and I have some Liquitex matte medium, but you could also use Mod Podge if you wanted to do that. I just don't like the way Mod Podge smells, and so I'm going to use matte medium. So for this, I also have some tissue paper that has these nice looking leaves on them, and you could also think about using napkins for this. Anything that is a light layer of tissue with an image on it would work for this project. So I'm going to just take and I'm going to paint my pumpkin, a section of my pumpkin, with some of this Mod Podge. Well, it's not Mod Podge, is it? It's matte medium. And I'm going to do a little section here, gloss this up. And then I'm going to take a clean brush with just water, and I'm going to just draw a line with water around the area that I would like to tear. And then once it's wet, it's very easy to just tear it along that line and get a very clean edge where it's wet. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to lay it over the area that's wet on my pumpkin. And then I'm just going to smooth it out, lay it down, and where I maybe don't have glue, I'll just put some matte medium under there, just making sure that there's glue under all of these areas. Lay it down, smooth it out as best I can. And so now I'm going to just paint over the top of it with more of this matte medium and use my brush to smooth out any of the layers that have maybe gotten wrinkled. But even if it's a little wrinkled, it's not a big deal. I'm just going to try to affix everything. And I'm going to continue to do this all around the pumpkin. Now, I'm going to just stop for a second and show you, if you have a napkin, how you might treat that. Let's say you have a napkin, something like this, and it's multi-ply, and you want to try to separate those layers. Well, you can do it like this, and you might think that you've gotten all the layers. But what I would suggest you do is take some simple Scotch tape, and on this side put one piece of tape, and on this side put another piece. And if you pull them apart, you'll find that you can actually get an even thinner layer revealed. And the thinner it is, I think the easier it is to tear and the easier it is to work with. So if you've got a multi-ply napkin, this is a suggestion for you to think about creating a really thin and pliable layer with which to work. So I'm going to continue doing the same method that I showed you, painting my pumpkin with the matte medium in the area that I want to affix some collage. And that's basically what we're doing here, is collaging onto our pumpkin with tissue. And then I'm going to find a section of my tissue paper that I'd like to tear, and I'll just put some water on it, and it makes it very easy to tear along that wet line. Well, it's easier if it's very wet. Well, so it doesn't have to be perfect, thankfully, but even if you tear it like this, it's not a big deal because you can just lay it down carefully. So I'm going to try to set this in there in a way that looks nice. It's okay if it overlaps a little bit. In fact, I think it's better if it does overlap a little bit. And then I'm going to paint right on top of it again and just join these edges, overlapping but smoothing things out. I'll continue this with a little bit more speed so that you can see how it looks when it's finished. You want to push the air bubbles out. A good way to do that is with your brush or with your finger. A gloved finger works too, but just go around and try to make sure that everything is in contact with the pumpkin and smoothed out to the extent that you'd like it to be. And then you just let it dry, and this will all dry with a matte finish because it has this matte medium. Even though I had a gloss finish under it, the matte medium is going to degloss that glossy surface that I had below. So if you feel as if you end up with a finish that is somewhat irregular, maybe you didn't cover everything with your napkins, then you can think about putting just a top coat over the whole thing to sort of make that surface uniformly matte or uniformly glossy, depending on what your preference is. But it's a fun way to create, I think, a really nice looking and unique looking holiday ornament for your table or for your porch, or however you choose to use it. I'm tearing little bits of this away where I feel it's not necessary. I really like using gloves when I do this just because it allows me to get my fingers in there and be the boss of it. Well, I hope this is something that you enjoy, and I hope it's a process you can use and maybe have some fun with. And if you do like it, please think about liking and commenting who you might be using this with, and feel free to share it and save it. Thanks so much for following along, and happy holidays.